Good evening. Happy All-Star Game Day. Starting about an hour here. It's just after 7 o'clock here on the East Coast. Very fun home run derby yesterday. Got all the feels watching Adley Rutschman hitting home runs off his dad, only to be promptly eliminated by Luis Robert Jr. right after that. But still, it was he put on a heck of a performance in that first round and doing it with his dad. That was just a lot of fun to watch. Julio Rodriguez lighting it up in front of the hometown fans, 41 bombs in that first round. And then, congrats to Vladdy Jr. It's pretty cool to join your dad with that accomplishment. Both are winning the home run derby. Very fun to watch. Randy Rosarina obviously threw down a magnificent performance as well. Just all around very fun. Whoever Pete Alonso's pitching coach was, I guess it's not his normal guy, but man, he was dotting the corners. I mean, they should put him in the rotation. So a little bit of bad luck there for Alonso, but all told, a lot of fun. Looking forward to the All-Star game in a little bit. For right now, I'm gonna play a little bit of Immaculate Inning here. Once again, chasing that ultra low rarity score. One note is that I did mention a Jessica Lang yesterday, who scores really well in this game. Only problem was that's not the right person at all. I had the name completely wrong yesterday. So a quick correction, it was Jessica D. Brand. It's at Jessica D. Brand on Twitter. Very fun follow, and she always posts her Immaculate Grids. And she's a researcher for MLB and NHL networks, and very fun follow, and she dominates at this game. So like as proud as I was to go 10 the other day, she regularly goes single digits in this game. So maybe she should be making these videos and not me. But at any rate, I'm doing it. Gonna start playing here. I am going to go ahead and share my screen, as one does when doing this. And let's see, hit refresh. This was yesterday's grid. I had all pitchers and all good pitchers too. Like I had Hall of Famers, 6 Hall of Famers, I think, a couple guys with over 300 saves. I'm pretty happy with that one. That was pretty cool. Um, oh, oh, this is new. Baseball Reference owns this now. Okay. I will read that later. I'll read this and give a I'll do that. I'll read this little thing and sort of talk about it I guess in tomorrow's episode. Um but for right now I'm just gonna go over I'm just gonna play it. We got the logo. Maybe this means we're not gonna have any more of those non-faces. That was I was wondering like why some people had faces, some people didn't. I guess I don't know, but Baseball Reference has faces for pretty much everyone, I think. Maybe some not everybody from like the 19th century, but for the most part, Baseball Reference has all the faces. So that flex of having 9 people without faces, that's not gonna be a thing as much anymore. So anyway, let's get into it here. We got the Mets, we got the Astros on the top. And then 200 hits batting, which we'll have to line up with the Dodgers, Yankees, and Phillies. Um, cool. Um, I'm gonna go 1930s on the Phillies. I don't know how many people know about the 1930s that well. Chuck Klein is the individual I'm gonna go with. 0.7%. He won a triple crown. Fun fact. He's in the Hall of Fame. So that one feeling pretty solid on that. I think Rollins would have worked. That's probably who a lot of people will pick. I don't know about Utley. Utley balked too much, I think, to get to 200 hits. I think Juan Samuel would have worked too. In both cases, both him and Rollins just hitting at the top of the order and just getting a ton of at bats. I have to think of more recent people though. I'm wondering who the big percentages were. I assume Rollins is gonna be north of 50% though. Um, let's see. 200 hits batting for the New York Yankees. Um, yeah, probably a whole bunch of people. Jeter's gonna get a lot of these votes, a lot of these points. Um, I'm pretty confident that in the 2000 and season. It's like Alfonso Soriano's breakout season. He had just a ton of at bats, barely ever walked, and hit 300. I think he got to 200 hits. Um, yeah, I think, and he was almost 40-40 that season. Also, almost 40-40 that season was Vlad Guerrero Sr. So they both had over 40 stolen bases, but 39 home runs. Anyway, I'm going to go with Soriano. I don't know. There's probably other options. I'm pretty sure Gehrig and Ruth both walked a lot, but I think Gehrig did get 200 hits a bunch of times. Ruth probably did it a bunch of times despite walking as much as he did. DiMaggio will certainly get his share of votes. I don't know about Mantle. Mantle was injured a lot, and had walked a lot, so maybe not him. Not sure about Willie Randolph or like Dave Winfield. Certainly not Henderson because he walks a lot. So did Randolph. I'm gonna go Soriano. I was talking myself into it. I wanted to make sure I wasn't gonna miss anyone. All right, we got 2% on Alfonso Soriano. And then 200 hits from an LA Dodger. I'm also going to go with the early 1930s on this one. And I'm not going to go with an LA Dodger. I'm going to go with a Brooklyn Dodger. Babe Ruth. No, just kidding. Babe Herman. Hit like 390 one year. 0.5%. That's a very intense look. All right, we got Mets and Dodgers. Ooh, here's a good one for Dodgers and Astros. I'm gonna go with someone who played for the Brewers. This was before I started watching baseball, but my dad would it was always my dad's go-to of a bad contract signing. That was a gentleman named Franklin Stubbs, who played for both these teams before going to the Brewers, and not doing so hot. 0.1%. Feel pretty good about that. Yankees and Mets. There's going to be a lot of options there. Casey Stengel's manager, that's not going to count. Let's see. I think really Willie Randolph did play a season for the Mets. He was definitely a coach, and I think a manager for the Mets, but obviously played a long time for the Yankees. And um, I want to say he played a year with the Brewers and then a year with the Mets, but I'm not 100% on that. I want to make sure I'm 100%. I don't want to blow it. Who else would work here? So you got David Cohn, you got Darryl Strawberry, you got Dwight Gooden. I got one. I don't think people are going to remember that he was a Yankee. John Olerud. 0.5%. He was barely a Yankee. I think it was only like half the season. It was after he was with the Mariners, right at the end of his career. Wonder if that was a better pick than like. Well, again, I wasn't totally sure on Randolph. So, for this one, Eddie Murray did play for both teams. So did Oral Hershiser. Ooh, Gil Hodges, but he was manager. I don't think he ever played for the Mets. He was manager of the Mets. In the early 70s. I think he was actually manager on that 69 team. Or don't quote me on that though. Or do. I don't care. Oral Hershiser. I'll lock that in. 0.8%. How many people are going to remember that Lance Berkman was ever so briefly a Yankee? Too many? It was only half a season. It was like the 2010 season for like a couple months. We went to the Cardinals right after that. So it wasn't exactly a long period of time. Ooh, I got a better one. Well, no. Is that better? Is it helpful if I'm just talking to myself? I'm just realizing I'm trying to do this live. I'm gonna do this actually. I don't think a lot of people are gonna remember Kenny Lofton played for both teams. 0.2%. But Lofton, like the reason I was hesitating was Lofton also played for both these teams. But with the Yankees, like because it's such a big fan base, a lot of times they'll know. But like this I think was under the radar a little bit, and he started his career with the Astros. Um, Mets and Phillies, Tug McGraw immediately comes to mind. He was a fairly high profile player on both teams, though, on both the 69 Mets and the 1980 Phillies. He was a key reliever. So I think Mets and Phillies fans will both remember that. And because they were both in the East, I think they'll both remember that. I did mention Juan Samuel earlier. I'm quite certain he did play for both teams. Very briefly with the Mets, though. Let's get that in. 1%. What if Tug McGraw, where that would have lied? I think somewhere with that. So let's see. Going in the finals here. Ooh, you know who works here? It was so brief. But Kurt Schilling was an Astro right before going to the Phillies. He's like, I think his rookie cars with the Orioles, I think goes to the Astros and the Phillies. I think there's a Steve Finley is involved in there somewhere. I forget exactly who all the players were, but that'll work. 3%. Actually, that's a lot higher than I would have thought. All right. Oh man, this is all sorts of new. I'm gonna have some fun with this. I'm gonna improvise a little bit. All right, so Immaculate with a rarity score of 8. That is my all-time record. Thank you very much. Baseball reference. Possible entries here. So this would have been helpful yesterday because I was racking my mind. Oh, I forgot to mention yesterday. So yesterday I was racking my brain because I was just like, well, it's Johan for the Twins Cy Young Award winner. It's like it's Johan Santana or Frank Viola, and there aren't any others, so I'll go with Frank Viola because it was older. And it was like Santana was at 88%, and the one I filled in was Viola at 10%. And then there was 2% left over. I'm like, oh, you got me. So this is our way. We can actually see it here. We can actually see it. Um, the answer was Jim Perry, actually, which I think at the bottom was Gaylord Perry. So he would have worked for 3,000 strikeouts. And then you could have gone with his brother Jim, was the 2%er for the Minnesota Twins. He won the 1970 AL Cy Young Award. I was never going to get that, by the way. I had no idea that Jim Perry, Gaylord Perry's brother, won a Cy Young Award as a Minnesota Twin in 1970. Let's skip to this real quick. Yeah, there were a lot of choices here for the Mets and Yankees. So Darryl Strawberry caps it at 13%. So you probably just have a bunch of people, like probably 7 or 8 people between like 7 and 12%. You got Gooden, you got Strawberry, you got David Cohn. Were some of the ones that I immediately thought of. You get Granderson, that would work. Granderson probably did pretty well there. Scherzer, current player, that makes sense. Greinke, yep, played for both teams. Um, Jackie Robinson, I would not have actually immediately thought of, even though I've got him stealing home right behind me. Sorry, right behind me. Only because he did draw a fair number of walks. He actually has like of the players in the integration era, which of course starts with him. I think he's the all-time leader in on-base percentage by someone predominantly playing second base. I looked that up at one point. And Yeah, it wasn't abundantly obvious to me. I guess it's not really surprising. His 1949 season is was spectacular. So getting 200 hits, that uh, that makes sense. Jeter takes 3/5 of the vote for the Yankees. They had 14 people all told. So can we see? Oh, so they'll link straight to StatHead. Ha, that's great. Oh man, I love Baseball Reference so much, and I love Immaculate Grid so much. And now they are one. So with the Dodgers, Beltre would have worked. Piazza would have worked. 201 hits from a catcher. Pretty impressive. Zach Wheat. I could have gone more obscure. Zach Wheat with multiple performances. Wee Willie Keeler here. Multiple performances. So you could have gone older and more obscure. Babe Herman was, what do we say here? 0.5%. So what it's not showing you is what the votes are. I think that would be like the next little iteration is just to show where everyone's at. Fair number of choices here. Could have gone with Hunter Pence would have worked here too. He was traded right around the same time as Oswalt, so I'll bet they're pretty close. Um, Garrett Cole took fully half of the Astro Yankees. I was thinking that Kenny Lofton would have worked here too, and he would have, but um, let's see. I went with Lofton here for 0.2%. Schilling at 3%, that was actually that actually might have been a little bit on the higher side. Um, I guess in theory I should be able to see all 119 people who would have worked for this. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't even realize Baseball Reference had this functionality. I've lived on this website for near 2 decades and I didn't know you could do this. Man, so many options. Don Larson was in there. Brad Lidge was in there. I probably could have come up with Brad Lidge. Kurt Schilling, like I said, it was just 1 year. I'm surprised he got 3%. That seems high. Randy Wolf, I think I did know that. I think I knew Wolf played a little bit for the Astros. Um, Scanning just for some other interesting obscure names. Jay Happ got a shout out the other day. This is a lot of fun. Bobby Abreu, that's a good one. I should have remembered. I have a baseball card of Abreu with the Astros. I should have remembered that, a rookie card. Um, anyway, this was a lot of fun. I'm really excited. I'm going to read all about how this is now owned by Baseball Reference because I think that's really cool. And I'll get this posted once again. My video is sponsored by this book written by this great author called Baseball's Most Fun Frivolities on Amazon. I'm the author, self-published author. So, it's just up there if you're interested in this kind of random baseball banter. That's what I provide in about 26 or so chapters of that book, about 200 pages. If you're interested in just random musings about baseball. So, appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to read all about how Baseball Reference now owns Immaculate Grid, which is just frankly a match made in heaven. And we'll play this again tomorrow. Let's look forward to an awesome All-Star game. Talk to you all tomorrow.